I'm struggling to deal with my GF's princess syndrome. She dresses like she's in a fairy tale every day, and it's drawing too much attention. We've been together 6 months, and her outfits are getting worse. I'm talking full ball gowns to the grocery store, tiaras at Chipotle. Yesterday, she wore a floor-length purple gown with actual glass slippers to grab coffee. The barista asked if she was going to a wedding. She said, no, just getting a latte. People stare. Kids point. Strangers ask for photos. Constantly. At first, I thought it was cute, quirky, something that would fade after a few weeks, but it's every single day now. She spends 2 hours getting ready for a trip to CVS. Her closet looks like a Disney store exploded. She has 14 different crowns organized by occasion. I counted. I've tried dropping hints. Maybe jeans today? She'd smile and say, I don't own jeans. I suggested we grab dinner somewhere casual. She showed up in a ball gown with a hoop skirt so wide she couldn't fit through the restaurant door. We had to leave. The hostess looked at me like I was insane. My friends started making jokes. Bringing Cinderella to poker night? My coworker saw us at the mall and asked the next day if we were doing some weird roleplay thing. Even my mom pulled me aside and gently asked if my girlfriend was okay mentally. That one stung. Last week was my breaking point. We went to Target at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday for laundry detergent, and this mom literally stopped us in the paper towel aisle. Excuse me, my daughter thinks you're a real princess. Can we get a photo? My girlfriend's face lit up like Christmas morning. She posed with this little girl like it was a royal meet and greet. Did the princess wave, the curtsy, the whole thing. I stood there holding Tide Pods feeling like the world's biggest idiot while other shoppers pulled out their phones and formed a line. 20 minutes. We spent 20 minutes in Target doing an impromptu photo shoot. A manager came over and I thought we were getting kicked out, but no. He asked if she could come back on Saturday for their Kids Day event. When we finally got home, I couldn't hold it in anymore. This is getting ridiculous. The constant attention is embarrassing. Can you please just dress normal? Just once? I'm not asking you to change who you are, just tone it down when we're together. She went completely silent, stared at me for a solid 10 seconds. Then she pulled out her phone, tapped a few times, and turned the screen toward me without saying a word. $47,000. I looked at the number in her bank account and my brain completely short-circuited. What is this? That's what I've been trying to tell you for 3 months, she said quietly. But you keep shutting down or changing the subject whenever I mention my princess work. Turns out she's been running a princess party business for 8 months. Parents hire her for birthday parties. She charges $200 per hour, minimum 2 hours. She's booked solid every single weekend and most weeknights. She has a waiting list 6 weeks long. That Target mom, she just booked a $600 party for next month. The grocery store gowns, she wears them everywhere to stay in character, and it works as free advertising. Last month, a woman hired her after seeing her at Whole Foods buying apples in a snow-white dress. $800 for a 4-hour party. She pulled up her calendar, showed me the bookings, birthday parties, corporate events. One hospital hired her to visit sick kids for $500. She does 3 to 4 parties every weekend. But here's the part that actually destroyed me. She said she'd been trying to share this with me for months. She invited me to watch her perform at a party back in September. Told me she really wanted me there to see what she does. I said I had plans with the guys. She tried showing me her booking calendar in October. I told her I was tired and wanted to watch the game. She mentioned wanting to expand the business into princess training classes for little girls. I changed the topic to football. I thought you'd be proud of me, she said. Her voice cracked a little. I thought you'd want to celebrate this, but instead you keep asking me to hide it. Then came the question that made my stomach drop. My friends told me you're embarrassed that I'm making more money than you, that you want me to stop because it makes you feel small. Is that true? I make $38,000 a year. She asked me again, looking me dead in the eyes. Is that true? Do you want me to quit because I'm successful? I opened my mouth to say no, to tell her that wasn't it at all, but nothing came out, because maybe they were right. Maybe I was embarrassed. Maybe seeing her pull in more money in one weekend than I make in a month made me feel like less of a man. Maybe watching strangers treat her like royalty, while I'm just the boyfriend holding the shopping bags, made me feel invisible. She nodded slowly, reading my silence. That's what I thought. We broke up 3 days later. She said she needed someone who celebrated her success instead of resenting it. Someone who wasn't ashamed to stand next to her in public. Last week I saw on Instagram she just signed a contract with a party planning company. $120,000 salary to be their lead princess performer and trainer. The comments were full of congratulations. Her friends, her family, people I'd never even met. I'm sitting here in my apartment making $38K, realizing I destroyed the best thing in my life because I couldn't handle her wearing a tiara to Target.
I gave my husband an ultimatum. Either he cuts off his late wife's family, or we call off the wedding and go our separate ways. I'm 27, marrying my fiancé who's 31. His first wife died at 24 from sepsis after a botched weight loss surgery. They were high school sweethearts, together from 16 until she passed. I met him 3 years later and he was completely honest from our second date. He still visited her family monthly, spent full days with them on her birthday in June, their anniversary in October, and the day she died in February. Her dad and 2 sisters, now 21 and 26, were like his second family. At first it really bothered me. There was so much history they shared that we'd never have. I'd see photos of them at family dinners, my fiancé with his arm around her dad, and feel invisible, like I was competing with a ghost. But I loved him and spent 8 months in therapy working through it. By year 2 I was completely secure. He was building a future with me. When he proposed last March at the restaurant where we had our first date, I cried for 20 minutes. We set the wedding for November 12th, booked a barn venue for 150 people, sent save the dates in June. Everything was perfect until August. I'd been trying new coffee shops and walked into this place before my hospital shift. His late wife's younger sister worked there. We'd met twice at his birthdays but barely spoke. She took my order for an iced latte and seemed normal until she saw my engagement ring on the counter. A 1.2 carat oval diamond he saved 6 months for. Her whole face changed, went dark and disgusted. I grabbed my coffee and left. That night he came home stressed. He finally admitted she sent him 17 Instagram messages asking about my ring. That's when I learned he never told them we got engaged. 5 months in complete secret. I was furious and humiliated. He apologized, said he didn't want to hide me but didn't want to hurt them either. Promised to tell them that weekend. I believed him. 1 week later, Sunday morning at the grocery store, I got an Instagram message from the older sister. 5 paragraphs. She said I should be ashamed trying to replace her sister. That I'd never measure up. That if his late wife was alive, he'd choose her over me every time. Then it got vicious. She wrote he only kept me around for my $90K nurse salary since he makes $45K at his gym, and I was just something for him to use when he got lonely. I sat in my car reading it 3 times. Those were insecurities I'd already worked through. Having them weaponized felt like a punch to the gut. I showed him that night. He was horrified. Immediately called her. I heard him through the door saying she crossed a line, and if she contacted me again, he'd cut her off. He held me while I cried and promised I'd never hear from them again. 3 days later, I walked out of the hospital at 11 p.m. after a 12-hour shift. Found my car destroyed in the parking lot. All 4 tires slashed to the rims. Both windows shattered. Grave robber spray painted in red across the driver's side. I'd saved 18 months for that Lexus. Put $47,000 down, only 7 months of payments made. I called him sobbing. We filed a report with hospital security who pulled camera footage. Grainy, but showed a silver Honda Civic circling my car at 2 a.m. Caught a partial plate ending ending in 7J4, the younger sister's car. I'd seen it at his birthday in May. I told him I'm going to the police. He begged me to wait, let him talk to them first. I said no, but I'd hold off if they paid the $400 in damages and apologized to my face. He set up a meeting Tuesday at a diner. I thought just the younger sister. Both sisters showed up with their dad. The younger one said she had nothing to apologize for. The older sister said I should leave their family alone, including my fiancé. Their dad sat silent. He defended me, voice shaking, said it wasn't fair to expect him alone forever. The older sister screamed he was betraying her sister, that he never really loved her if he'd marry someone else. The younger one said they didn't mind him dating because they figured he'd realize no one compared. Now that he's marrying me, they're stopping it. She stared at him and said, "Tell her we're right. Tell her you'll never love anyone like you loved my sister." He broke down crying right there at the table. I grabbed his arm and pulled him out. Told them I'm filing a police report and suing. We'll see them in court. We drove home silent. Inside, I said either they go or I do. Complete no contact or we call off the wedding. He called their dad that night. Their dad defended his daughters, said I was controlling and cutting them off was cruel after 15 years. It's been 48 hours since my ultimatum. They're texting every hour. The older sister calls me a homewrecker. The younger one says I trapped him. Now their uncle and grandmother are messaging me worse things. I'm not blocking anyone, gathering evidence for a restraining order. He still hasn't given me his answer.